Are you thinking about making a move to Colorado? You've probably seen the lifestyle, the mountains, and everything that makes it look amazing. But there's also some real reasons why people regret moving to Colorado. And in today's video, I'm going to share exactly why that might be you and how to avoid it. Hey everyone, my name is Taylor Ratliff and this is Moving to Colorado, and this channel is meant to be your resource for all things relocation if you're thinking about moving to Colorado in 2026. If you have questions about cost of living, commute times, schools, places to live, differences between cities, neighborhoods, macro markets, micro markets, definitely reach out. I'll put all of my information over the screen right here. I'm here to be a resource. I'm here to help you avoid making big financial mistakes. And I would love to help you move here with an enjoyable and as little stress as possible experience. So definitely reach out, and then make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you can stay notified every single time I make a video. And without further ado, let's hop into the video. The number one reason that you should not move to Colorado is because it is insanely expensive. If you are not somebody that is prepared to spend a lot of money in order to have the lifestyle that you see as reflected by people that live in Colorado, then you should not move here. If you are somebody that is already struggling in the state that you're in, if you have not found a job that is going to pay you more and pay you more compared to the cost of living as well, you shouldn't move here. If I have some clients, and it breaks my heart truly, because I am also somebody that came from southern New Mexico, where at the time we were renting a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a pizza oven and pecan trees and a pomegranate bush, and it was a huge home with a huge garage, and it was a beautiful property, and we spent $750 a month on that property. So insane price. And then you move up to Colorado, and at the time we were renting in Longmont. We had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, and with utilities, at the end of the day, every month it was around $2,500 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. So it was insane to go from $750 to $2,500 for less of a home and no yard. We had no yard when we were renting that apartment. And so if you don't want to spend a lot of money, if you're looking for a very affordable place to live, if you do not have a job lined up, do not move to Colorado. Colorado is so expensive. And if you move here and it's not what you thought it was going to be, and you haven't done your due diligence, and you haven't figured out that the cost of living is not something that you can afford, you are going to be working night and day to save up enough money to either move to a different state or go back home. And that is so defeating. You lose so much time. You waste so many years of your life getting back on track if you make a move like that. So Colorado is beautiful, and it's a destination state. People are willing to pay the amount that it costs to live in Colorado, and it's not going to go down. And so if you cannot afford to live here, do not move to Colorado. But if you have gone through the cost of living and you've done your due diligence and you've reached out and you understand exactly what it's going to cost you to live here, and you have jobs lined up that are going to keep you comfortable and allow you to live the lifestyle that you're looking to lead in Colorado, then Colorado is going to be a great place for you to call home. And I'm also very happy. It is a lot more expensive to live here, but I don't feel like I spend too much for the life that I'm able to live. You should not move here if you do not like traffic and if you do not like growth. There are so many people that are constantly saying, get out of Colorado, or don't move to Colorado. There's too many people here. And unfortunately, that's not going to change. People are going to continue moving here. If it's not you moving here, it's somebody else moving here. And so Colorado is going to continue to grow because it's such a great place to live. There are people that are flocking from all over the country for a plethora of reasons, because Colorado is a happy middle and has a great quality of life, and you also have incredible outdoor recreation. So Colorado is only going to continue growing. So if a lot of traffic is not something that you want to experience, you want to reach out, because we want to really make sure that you are placed in an area that does not have extreme growth, doesn't really have the ability for extreme growth, like places like Evergreen, places like Golden, different places in the mountains, Flagstaff, Boulder. These places kind of have the population that they have. There's more people that can come, but there's not a huge amount of building that is happening in these areas. Whereas in Longmont is being built out faster than I can't even share how fast Longmont is growing. And what's interesting is there's Meade, Frederick, Firestone, Dacono. All of these places are growing very rapidly as well. There's a lot of places in the Denver metro that are growing very rapidly. And so it's important that you understand that traffic is something that you are going to deal with if you move here, especially to the Denver metro. And if you're somebody that needs to commute, it's very important that you understand what the commute is going to look like, what the rush hour times are, how to avoid those. And also, if you are going to have a commute that makes you hate your life, you should maybe spend a little bit more in order to be closer to your work. And that's a conversation that we can have. But make sure you understand Colorado is going to continue to grow. And so if it feels too congested for you, if the traffic feels too bad for you right now in the Denver metro, you should not move there because it is going to get worse. But there are going to be other areas that are going to be great fit for you, because places like Evergreen, you can't really get too much growth because there's a lot of hills, there's a lot of woods, you're in the mountains, and they're not going to have a ton of new construction everywhere, where places in Broomfield, places in Thornton, Colorado, all that you see right now going up is new builds and new construction. And so the traffic is going to get worse in those areas. So this is important. Make sure you understand Colorado is growing. It will continue to grow. It is a destination state, so that does mean that your property values are going to go up, but everybody wants to live in Colorado and everybody is moving to Colorado, and it's going to get worse. Okay, the third thing is that Colorado is a lot more competitive. I came from a very small town where all you had to do to receive a yes was ask, because there wasn't a lot of people that were asking. And so in Colorado, there is a lot more competition when it comes to the job market. There's a lot more competition when it comes to the housing market. There's more competition in everything. And so it is important for you to understand that you should not move here ever. You should not move here ever without securing a job. Unless you are a remote worker and you are able to keep your job and move to Colorado while you're searching for another one, you should never move to Colorado without figuring out your job and having that solidified. Because if you move here and you do not have employment, you are going to burn through your savings. You are going to burn through your savings. And a lot of people that are coming from places in Texas, that are coming from New Mexico, Arizona, certain places that don't have a lot of competition. They are used to going out, looking for a job, getting a job immediately, and then working their way up as they find better jobs. Whereas in Colorado, there's a lot of people that come here and they struggle for a very long time to find employment, and they end up going back to where they came from broke. And so don't move to Colorado unless you have employment lined up. Do not move here unless you have your job solidified. Do not do it, because the worst case scenario is that you run out of money, you bankrupt yourself, you run through all of your savings, you burn through those savings, and then you have to go back home, and then you're like, I hate Colorado, and I'm never going to leave my hometown again because it was an awful experience. When the reason it was an awful experience is because you did not do your part in getting yourself prepared in the right fashion. You need to make sure that you have a job lined up if you are going to move to Colorado. This is not a cheap place to live. It costs a lot of money to live here only, and then it costs even more money to have the lifestyle that you want if you're going to live here. So make sure you get a job before you move here. I want you to move here. I want to help you. I want you to have an absolutely spectacular life in Colorado, but I want to help you thrive here. I do not want to help you move here and get you into survival mode where you are just turning your wheels constantly just to make a buck to afford the roof over your head. So do not move here. Do not move here. Do not move here. Do not move here unless you have employment lined up. Please listen to me on that. You don't want to end up going broke. All right, so the fourth mistake is that everybody thinks about beautiful, beautiful Colorado, colorful Colorado with the gorgeous summers, the gorgeous spring, and all the green, and incredible hikes, and nature, and mountains. And what they don't tell you about is that it comes with some very extreme weather in certain situations. Colorado can get earthquakes, Colorado can get tornadoes. Colorado can get flooding. It gets insane blizzard, snow, there's avalanches, there's insane hail damage. And so you just want to make sure that you understand that Colorado can have some very severe weather. And a lot of times what I see people making a mistake on is that they buy a house that is facing the wrong way, and then their driveway never melts in the winter, and they're just stuck with a whole block of ice. And if you're somebody that is in the later years of your life, you don't want to be walking out to a block of ice for 5 months out of the year. And so that's a big mistake that a lot of people make, is that they buy a house that's facing the wrong direction for ice melt. And then the other thing is that sometimes the hail damage is very severe and you can get a totaled vehicle from it. I had a vehicle totaled from being on the outskirts of a tornado and being in some significant hail damage. And if you don't have gap insurance, you're going to have to pay for it. And it is very expensive. And so if you're moving to Colorado, one of the big mistakes that I see people make when it comes to weather is they don't get an apartment that has a garage. Or a lot of times people move out here and they have very big trucks, and they realize that the trucks do not fit in the garage. And oftentimes if you have a garage that doesn't fit a truck, that truck is a very expensive vehicle, and it is now just sitting out waiting to be targeted by hail. Targeted. So just make sure that you understand the weather can get very insane here. It's important to prepare. It's important to have gap insurance if you buy a new vehicle. And it's also important that you have a covered carport, covered garage, something to protect your vehicles, because the hail can get very crazy. The fifth big mistake that I see people make is that they do not understand that the Colorado housing market, even though we are in a buyer's market, there are certain micro markets within different cities and within different neighborhoods that are moving very quickly, where we're actually not in a buyer's market anymore. We're in a seller's market. And so one of the worst things that you can do is not understand the housing market in the area that you're wanting to buy a house. And that's why it's important to reach out for help, is because I understand these markets and I can help educate you and enlighten you on the markets that you're interested in and how to position yourself to win in those markets. And like I was saying in another video, sometimes people reach out to me last minute, and so we don't have a lot of time, and then match that with also not understanding the market that you are trying to buy a home in. Oftentimes that leads to a lot of friction and a lot of butting heads and a lot of lost out offers. And so it's very important that you pick up the phone and that we have a conversation about the area that you're interested in and the area that you want to buy a house in, because we need to make sure that you are positioned correctly and that you understand what that means. What does it mean to be positioned correctly to win in the market? What does that mean for you specifically? And what does that mean for the specific market that you're wanting to buy a house in as well? And that's part of what I will share with you, is how you can understand all of that so that you feel confident in putting in the offers that you're putting in and moving forward, buying a property potentially sight unseen and potentially only seeing it once you've already purchased it in person. I'm very happy to do FaceTime, very happy to do videos, but some of my clients do purchase their homes without ever stepping foot in it. And it's important that we have these conversations before we're running out of time, because I want to make this an enjoyable experience. I want to make this a low of pressure as possible experience. I want you to not be super stressed and overwhelmed. That's not something that I want to be part of. I truly want to help guide you through a process that can be enjoyable. And it can be enjoyable if you reach out early and you reach out for help and you have somebody helping you navigate all of these mistakes. So make sure you reach out. I'm here to be a resource for you. Make sure you really sit with this information so that if you are somebody that, is thinking about spending $750 a month on housing in Colorado, you should really think about moving to a different state, truly, because it's going to be hard for you to live a good lifestyle with that type of budget. So all of these things are very important. They're mistakes that you don't want to make. They're mistakes I don't want you to make because it's going to save you time, money, and a lot of headache, a lot of heartache, a lot of energy. And then with all of that being said, Colorado is incredible. It's a great place to live. It's beautiful. The outdoor recreation is unmatched. It's gorgeous, and I love my life here. I love being able to be just a short drive from the mountains. I love the views that I have constantly. Going from a very small mountain town in the middle of the desert in New Mexico to somewhere that there is just so many people and so many things to do and so many activities and just so much. I am constantly overwhelmed in a good way. I'm so grateful for the fact that we moved here, that we made the leap, that we did it. And at the same time, I really wish that I would have, avoided the mistakes that we made. I wish I would have reached out for help, but, they say that everything that you go through is meant to help somebody else. And so I am happy that I'm able to, share these tips and pointers with you so that you can avoid these mistakes. But just know that Colorado is somewhere that can just give and give and give and give and give to you if you get it, if you do it right. And I'm here to help you do it right. And if after this video you're thinking to yourself, I've done my research, or I'm ready to do this research and I'm ready to see what it looks like for next steps on how to move here, and you want to have a conversation and figure out where you should be looking, definitely reach out. And then make sure that you subscribe, hit that bell so that you can stay up to date every time I make another one of these videos. And I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their day. And if you're thinking about relocating to Colorado, give me a call.